Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Hillard Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career, with a little self-help along the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and people. It's Hillard Wilkerson back with another episode of Positive Philter. And this is a live episode the day before my birthday. But shout out to J. Cole. It's actually his birthday. And so we're going to go live. If you have been a listener or a follower of the podcast, you know that this time last year, me and my best friend Hillard did a live episode about goal setting and getting ready for the new year. And it was really impactful. It was really powerful. I think it was my most downloaded episode of the year. And I was like, well, we got to do it again. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And we got goals for this year. So before we get started, though, I just want to give a little plug of who I am for those that don't know me. So I'm Hillard Wilkerson. I'm the host. I'm a higher ed professional. I used to give out Ill Phil Awards. So if you look up that hashtag, you'll see it. I'm a podcast creator, a career development enthusiast, and just an all-around content creator. So that's a little bit about who I am. And then next, I'd like to share that I don't have any sponsors, but I do have companies and products that I like to endorse or support. So one of that is Intelligent Change, which is the maker of my 5-minute journal. This is a journal I use all the time. And so this is something that's very special to me. And then also I'd like to give a shout out to my fraternity brother's show. He has a web show called Tiny Froze, which is the journey of a millennial, little animated series that you can find. So that's just it. But without further ado, let me stop wasting time. Let me introduce my brother from another mother, my best friend, my childhood best friend, a high school best friend, a grown man best friend, lives out in the state of Idaho, the only black man I know in Idaho. Let me bring him on. Without further ado, is my best friend, Hillard. Welcome. That was a great intro, though. I got better with that. Yeah.
That was good, man. Hey, last year this time, you didn't have like all that stuff, man. Look at the podcast. Look how it's just growing, and you know what I mean. Like you got the slides, you got the presentation before, bro. You're doing your thing, man. I'm
trying. And look, I forgot this. Hillard, look at this. I think. No, I didn't put it on yet. Let me see. Here we go. Listen. Oh man, it don't work. Okay, never mind. Oh no. Okay, forget it. I thought I had the laugh track, but that junk didn't work.
Oh, that would have been dope.
I think it would have been dope if that junk actually was on air. Oh no, it's on. Did you hear it?
I heard it.
Oh, you heard it, but I didn't hear it. Oh, because I didn't wear headphones. That's why.
This is about to be a phenomenal episode.
Yeah, well, next time I wear headphones, I don't know if the listeners heard that. Well, someone heard him clap. But so I did a little intro, but Hillard, this might be someone's first time watching this, and so obviously about goal setting, but give a little bit more depth or intro to who you are.
I am, like Phil said, his best friend. We've known each other, man, like over 20 years now. No, like well over 10 years. But
20
over 20, right?
Yes.
Bro, we getting old.
Yes.
We getting old. Anyway, I've lived in Idaho for almost 10 years. July 1st will be 10 years. I'm a school counselor. I'm a dad. I'm a brother. And just someone that's like just trying to find his way, his path. I would say like we do the introductions, a lot, and I feel like every time I've been on here, I've said, kind of the same thing or different things. But so I would encourage you, please go back, support Phil's podcast. Go back and listen to some of those episodes we've done, and you'll hear the introduction and things like that. So it's I'm just here to support my guy, man. Like, on his birthday, and talk about some goals and goal setting and things that we want to accomplish this year.
Let's get it. So I think the way we're going to structure this is that if you're listening live, please feel free to throw questions in. Just throw them in the chat, engage with others in the chat. But if you throw questions, me and Hillard, we're going to ask each other questions. And then by the end, maybe near the 45-minute mark of this episode, we'll start answering those questions as they come in. So for those that are listening live, throw the questions in. But me and Hillard have some pre-set questions in regards to goals, and then we'll get to the audience later on in the show. But first, we did an episode. How was 2021 for you? Do we want to do like one word to describe last year? What was that? Hard. If it's one word, it was hard. Okay. Do you want to explain why you thought why it was hard in a Cliff Note version for those?
2021. Like I lost my dad. Which like it just came out of nowhere. Lost him to COVID. And like it was just a struggle the rest of the year. And then end of 2021, lost my brother LJ. Not DJ. A lot of you guys know DJ, and a lot of you guys don't know who LJ is. But then it's DJ's half brother, but we've known him for so long since he was young. So our brother as well, and so lost him at the end of the year. At 2021. So it just a hard year, man. Like losing two big and important figures in my life, hard. That would be my sum of 2021.
I mean, obviously my condolences to your loss, and we know that we were in that. I mean, you were in that, but that was quite a hard thing to think about. And I don't even know how to describe, because I knew that was your year. Like I knew that was your year, but just to put it in one word. But when you think about it, when we were here in this space last time in regard to setting goals, do you still think that in regard to that word hard and the two extreme losses, do you still think that the things that you envisioned as goals for that year, did they still come true or not?
Some of them did. And the ones that didn't, they didn't come off, my quote unquote vision board. But like they're still on it. And so now 2022 is like those things are going to be achieved. And if not achieved, I'm gonna try. It's going to, the effort is going to be put into those. The energy is going to be put into them to go for it. But some of those goals were actually achieved. And like growing, learning about myself, like realizing that even challenges and heartbreak and things like that, like you can grow from them, and you can. They don't crush you if you don't allow them to. So. Yeah, I achieved some of those goals, but now I'm even more determined because, like, I spiraled out, went to therapy, like, got into it, went back into it, like, full, like, realized, like, I needed to focus on myself, and I'm in a better space, but, like, still working, it's daily work, so, like, still working, and I'll see my therapist on Monday. So, all those things now they're definitely going to happen.
Yeah. So you said you did a vision board. Did you do one last year?
Not like I didn't make it like how you made yours.
Yeah.
And you posted yours. No, I didn't make it. Like it's right here.
Okay. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So you believe in visualization.
Yeah.
You rock with my vision board, right?
Yes.
Like I got it right here. I was going to pull it out.
Show it.
You see my vision board?
It's a little blurry.
Still blur. Well, I did the blur background because, I don't, for me, I wanted me to be the focus. But so explain that, because I think we talked about this last year, is that we have two different approaches to goal setting.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little nerdy. So we both set real tangible goals.
Yeah.
And very articulate and actually smart goals. You have like, I'm gonna do it. So yours is in your head, I'm on paper, right? Like, how do you, what is your vision board then in your mind? Is it images like mine? How does that work?
Yeah, no, like the images. It's like, so I'll say this. So, my dad passed away February 24th, right? So 1 year anniversary is coming up. And I remember I talked to him like the Saturday, I called him and, and I missed him. And then, and then he called me back, and he was at a shooting competition. Like he shot handguns, like competitively. So he was at a shooting competition. It was on a Saturday. And so then it was and he lived in Jamaica. So it's about an hour drive back to his place. So he called me on the way back, and we just, we're talking, and we talked pretty much the entire time. This is the last conversation I had with him, right? And at that point, I was already, I had certain things I wanted to do, and I had certain visions and things like that I wanted to do. So, I'm just talking to him, man, because he's an entrepreneur, started his own business, and figured it out, and really been on his own since he was 15. So, from just, I wanted to get his perspective and his experience, and look, man, these are the ideas, these are the things I want to do, and it's multiple different things. And my concept behind that was create multiple streams of income. So talking to him, I was like, look, I want to do this. I want to start a clothing brand. I want to dabble in real estate. I want to, get a couple of vending machines, and kind of that's just just to get that income. I want to do motivational speaking. I want to write a book, right? And do all of these things and generate income and things like that. So I talked to him about all of that stuff. The whole time I'm talking to him, right? Not once, he, what I'm saying? Just so supportive, man. Didn't put me down. And we're talking about all of this stuff and going into details. And he's just giving me ideas. And it's yeah, all right, you want to do that? This is go about it this way. Yeah. Once you start your clothing thing, get your shirts from China because they're cheaper and you can get them in bulk, right? And you can get quality shirts from China and you get them at a lesser price, right? So he's talking to me about stuff like that, and he's just dropping just little gems in everything that I'm talking to him about, right? And so as he's doing that, I'm just envisioning it in my brain, and I'm okay, with this goal that I want to achieve, all right, I'm gonna take these steps, what I'm saying? Now I'm start mapping it out for this, right? All right, for this part, I'm gonna map it out. All right. And then he's okay, if you have individuals in these realms, talk to them, get their experiences, see what they went through, sharpen your mind and things like that around that stuff. And so I'm all right, cool. I'm taking all of that in. And so then I started envisioning it. I'm all right, cool. And I'm just following it, and that's how I just do it in my brain. And I don't know, some people might be able to do it, but I don't need to, I don't need to put it down. It's here and I can see it like a movie. It really plays like a movie in my brain, to where I see the things that I want to achieve, the steps that I want to take, and just steady in the progress that I'm all right, I'm gonna make it. And even if I fail, I don't care about that. I don't care if I got to take 10 steps back. I don't care about that, because that right there is just drive and determination. If I can lose weight, you know what I'm saying? If I can live in Idaho, which, it's gotten so much better for me, right? Living here. But if I can, those tough years at the beginning of being here, that was so hard. If I can do that and I can overachieve that, if I can achieve these other things, I I don't care about taking 10 steps back to make, smaller progress. So it's just like I started just mapping that stuff out in my brain. And that's how I do like my vision board.
In your brain. Okay, but
yeah.
And so me, I'm like actually like not freaking out, but me, I'm like already like how do you remember? Let's say minute detail, like you lost a lot of weight, and we share this story all the time, how you started with 1 lap and then you're running.
Yeah.
But like how do you have this vision but like set measurable goals and remember them? So for me, like me, like I say, okay, I'm gonna do something, but I can't forget I forget all the ideas I have. I got like 1,000 ideas, like this show, and I have to have links and documents. And so how do you, with this, when you have all these ideas, and I know that's what I'm saying, like I'm very fascinated about this, for you to accomplish all these things, how do you remember what you got to do next?
Okay, I'm always talking about it. And if I'm not talking about it, like I'm thinking about it. I'll talk to you guys about it. I talk to friends here that I have in Idaho. I talk to them about it. I talk to Dave about it, like constantly. I talk to Shay about it, and I'm always thinking about it too. And I'm like, all right, like this is what I want to do. Like, all right, some of the goals that I've achieved in 2021, I'm like, all right, I achieved those. Now, like these are the goals, and this is how I want to do it. So and I'm constantly like, I'm thinking about it. And even sometimes when I'm meditating, I meditate about that stuff. Yeah. So it's constantly playing in my brain.
So you think that your form of talking about it out loud makes yourself accountable to it. So like, for instance, by you talking about it to multiple people, then like I'm hearing like, then like maybe later down the line, which does happen, people that when you talk about it to multiple people, they're going to be like, Hill, how's that going? How's that going from different angles? Right. And it kind of reminds you to do it. Like we're verbally, we're going to talk about like some goals that we have for this year. And it's almost like we projected it out that I know sometimes people, even in my audience, will be like, oh, Phil, how'd that go? Because I said it out loud. And then that reminds me that, oh, either I took steps on it and I could be like, oh, I put that on the back burner, or I could tell people like almost give them progress reports. Like, yeah, good question. I'm glad you asked. And it reminds me like, oh, I'm still working toward it.
Right. Yep. Even like some of the stuff, man, like I talked to Maddie about it. I remember some of the conversation I used to talk to her. Bro, she's 6. I talk to her like she's an adult sometimes, man. And sometimes I forget. And I talk to like, I'm like, man, like, yo, this is what I want to do. And this is where I want to go. And then she's asking me like, well, why? And I tell her, and I'm like, this is the why behind it, and then she's like, well, Daddy, do you want to be rich? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, why? Because I'm like, well, the money gives you flexibility. And I'm like, well, I just want you to have, I'm like, and this ain't really, I'm like, the money ain't really for me, it's for you. So then like, when you're thinking about stuff you want to try and do, you don't have to be like, oh man, I want to try that and do that, but you have to delay it and put it on the back burner because financial obligations. I'm like, I'm trying to get and set up something for you that, yo, you're good. Like just go and try and follow and live, And so like, yeah, so it's just talking about that keeps me accountable. And she will bring, man, if you
I was about to ask, will she bring it back up? Like, remember Daddy, you said he was going to do this.
Yeah, if you want to be held accountable and you're a parent, talk to your kids about that. Talk to your kids about the stuff that you want to do and achieve. I'm telling you, because they'll bring it back up to you. And then what you going to say? What you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to be held accountable, talk to that. And so, and not even just your kids, talk to those people in your circle, your tribe, right? Those real close people, because they will hold you accountable, in a positive way, and that's, to me, that's a good thing, So, yeah, man, that's why I share it and I talk to you guys about it. So you guys hold me accountable to this stuff, even if it takes, it's like taking the timetable off of it, Like, don't put a timetable. You don't need to always attach a timetable to things and like, oh, I need to achieve this by such and such. But it's just like, okay, well, you know, hey Phil, you said you know this is something that you want to do. Are you still pursuing that? You know, and that's accountability. But I'm not like badgering you if you didn't do it, or like making you feel bad or doing it in a negative way. You know, there's still support. And if you're like, no, well, I changed my mind and I didn't want to do that no more. Okay, cool. Like, you got anything else lined up? Like, you know, I'm here to support you. I want to be, you know what I'm saying, your number one fan. I want to be in your corner. You know, those type of things. So
do you think so? You know, obviously we don't have resolutions. I kind of got away from that. But do you like on my vision board, do you think that, like, as a strategy for you, this individually, do you reset every year? Like, I am resetting at the beginning of 2022 and trying, like, do you reset or like you just, like, you know, now that we know that you're the guy that keeps it in your brain, do you reset every year, or you just reset when you feel like it? Like, how does that work for you?
Like a mental reset. You know, like I use like that new year, like, you know, like, all right, man, it's like just as a mental like reset to where it's trying to figure out how to word this.
I know I got a question in between. So you said your last word was hard, right? And you're putting hard, and you had, you know, extremely difficult year.
Yeah.
Are you like still thinking, like, are you going into this year with already the mindset like, I'm still in that space of the word hard, or are you ready to, like, a blank?
Right.
Like, there's a blank. There's no word right now, kind of thing, right?
No, I feel like there's always a word, right? Like, you can always apply something, right? Well, for me, I feel like I can always apply something. So it's just time to work. It's just, you know, like, let's get to it. You know, it's action. Like, that's the word now. It's action. You know, so that's the mental, like, reset. It's like, all right, now let's get to it. Like, let's put this action into play. Like, you achieved some of that stuff that you wanted to achieve. All right, you know, and there was some downtime, and now, like, let's get back to it. Like, time to reset, time to get back to it. You know, so you know, I almost like the beginning of a season.
Yeah,
you know, you get excited again. You know, you're like, oh man, like, it's time to get back out there. So that's my approach to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, for real. I treated this new year like almost like a reset, and it was weird because a lot of the things were rolling over into the new year, like things as when we set these goals or unaccomplished things, they still rolled over into this new year. But almost like, I feel like it's for me, it's another reset, and like, I don't know, I love that you used you know, I was trying to think of a word that I had, and it was just like, I can't. It was change. Like, change was my word. Like, you know, that we had quite a significant change moving in with my in-laws. So it wasn't it's not bad or good. It was just change, like a lot of transition.
Right.
Transition.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going into that. But it was like, even in this new year, I felt like it reset, like, where now it feels like finally this house feels like my home. Like, as I go into 2022, like, this is my home. Like, the fall, that was like still changing. It didn't feel like it was my home yet. Yeah. Now it feels like, when I think of a new year, I think of like, this is my home and all that stuff. So
do you have a word for this year at this point?
Grit.
Okay.
And I think you're saying that too. Like, I don't know. I think grit as in, like, I don't know, just resiliency and grit, because I think, like, still things are tough or things are still difficult. And, you know, a lot of people don't see the legs moving below the surface.
Right.
You know,
right.
I've done a lot better with sharing, you know, difficulties with smaller people. And so, you know, on the surface, I feel like I've done a lot better at, you know, exhibiting confidence and and calmness and feeling like I know what I'm doing. But I'm still doing a lot of work underneath, like the duck in the calm water. My legs are still going crazy. I got, I've got a lot of stuff that I'm trying to accomplish. Still a lot of mental checking and insecurities below the surface. But I think grit is my word, because I'm like, over time, I think I've become more of a resilient person.
Right.
Like, more like mentally tough. And like, I don't quit. Like things I care about, I don't quit. I was telling someone the other day, I think beyond my marriage to my wife, this podcast is the most consistent thing I've done over a long period of time. Meaning, like, I used to be powerlifting. I think I did powerlifting for like a good 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But I haven't, done it again. But this podcast is coming up on 5 years, and my marriage is coming up on 12 years. And so those are things that I've been like fully committed to.
Right.
No quitting, like consistently. And that makes me very proud that I could stick with something very long term, like more than just, a couple years.
Right.
That makes me happy. So that's grit. Grit's my word.
Right. You remember when you started this podcast and we recorded like some of those episodes?
Yeah, I mean, like you were
over the phone.
First we did over the phone. We did it with Google Voice.
Yeah.
And it was trash. And you were like, I think you were my first 3 episodes. Like one was my first episode was being by myself, and there was like friendship. One was friendship. One was dealing with like race. Yeah. Like an identity, like being black enough. I can't remember the third one, like being a good dad or something.
Right.
It's crazy. Like I really didn't think that was almost 4 years ago.
Yep. Like it's so it's that's awesome, man. Like that's awesome. It's like, and that just shows it's just sticking with something. Like you find something that you're passionate about and just sticking with it, man. And it's just like it, and then you can look back, and there's the appreciation you can have for something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, man, now look where it started and look where it's at now. Like how is that not success? How is that not successful? Like how you know what I mean? Like and that shows you like where it can go. It's just like there's no limit to it. Yeah. Like where it can go.
But like I noticed the first year though, and that's why I think I need to write it down. The first year was just, in my mind, it was only mine. It was like, just make it to 10 episodes or 6 months. Right. But for me, and this is where I think we have different styles, like for me to commit, then I had to put on paper. So, you see my podcast book right now and all this stuff. So like, I know we got different styles, but for me, I think what has kept me, I mean, obviously I don't like have to write things down to be committed to my wife, right? Like, that's different. But like for me to be committed to something externally, like a hobby like this, I have to write it down. Yeah. So let's just be real. Cause this is the first of, shout out to Shay. Thank you. Growth. It's not as big as the normal emojis she sends us. But like, let's be real. Okay. So let's just put it out there. This is the first of 4. We're going to periodically. Yeah. So, you're talking about throwing it out there. What is one tangible goal that you want to have this year that won't, obviously doesn't need to be done, but when we check in at the end of the first quarter, maybe in March, people can get a progress. So what is one goal that you're going to try to have, start for the listener and for yourself?
I'm going to start a clothing line, man. Start making shirts, So I have my heat press now. I have my circuit machine. I have the heating tape. And so now it's just time to do it. Like I'm gonna start messing around tomorrow, like, and just kind of like, figuring stuff out. Syncing, the circuit machine to my laptop so I can like create designs and stuff like that. I talked to a few people. I talked to Armand, and he gave, what I'm saying? Like, and he even went out and reached out to his boy that he knows And then he, and then he gave me information that he knows, right? I talked to Kevin, Meet the Curator, which is a great and a phenomenal, clothing line and a clothing brand. And, like love supporting his stuff. I love his vision about it. So I was like, man, I got to reach out to Kevin. And he didn't have to, like Kevin and I have never met in person. You know what I'm saying? And so, you had him on your podcast, and I was like, oh man, I got to go support this man's brand. And I just started supporting it. And he's just this really dope, fascinating individual. And so I just all right, I'm gonna reach out to him and see what he what he's willing to give me. And he gave me a lot of gems, man, and things to do and things to start. And then within that, just gave me some motivating words, and just hey, go for it. And then and then left the door open. It's man, if you need any other tips or you have any other questions, man, please reach out. So I appreciate that. And so like I said, man, I'm just gonna start and do and see where it goes and see where it takes me. And I have and you and I have talked. We talked actually 2 days ago. And I tell you, all right, man, this is where I'm trying to go with it. This is what I want to do. And this is where I want to start. That thing is here, already in my mind. I see the vision for it. Right. And I'm going to start and I'm going to jump in these areas of it. And I'm going to just try. And like I said, like I told you 2 days ago when we talked, if it fails, I don't care. Right. It's about doing it though. And not and doing it meaning that I'm gonna put myself and my energy into it. You know what I'm saying? And being consistent with it. So it's not a money thing for me. It's just part of it is this is one of the things that I talked to my dad about. I'm going to try every single one of those things that I talked to him about. If it fails, whatever, don't care. It ain't about the money, but it's just to do it. And it'll open up doors. That's the beautiful thing about failure is that it then reveals something else and it allows you to get other opportunities and you learn stuff about yourself in the process. So right now, the first thing that's there to start is that clothing brand. And I have a name for it. I'm not gonna say it now because I want to go trademark it.
Yes, no spoilers. Yeah,
right. But I have but then I'm gonna start. I'm gonna just make custom stuff too. It's oh well, you need this for this. All right, sure. Yeah, well, can you make me 5 shirts? Yeah, no problem. I can do those. And things like that. So it's just I'm gonna create the time now within my life to now to have this vision and this passion come to reality.
The one thing I love about your goals that is different than mine, which I'll share later, is that yours still has a lot more agency. Your goals is related to things that you have more control over, to start a clothing line. So for instance, one of my goals continuously, and it's always going to be a goal every year, is someday I'm going to do a TEDx.
Yeah.
I'm saying it out loud. I'm going to do a TEDx. I'm going to do it. The only thing that I have agency over is getting better at public speaking, practicing at Toastmasters, and just putting myself out there to be a TEDx speaker.
Right.
And I'm not saying negative. The difference is that mine is still lenient to, I guess, the TEDx accepted me or giving me a stage. Gotcha. And the difference between yours is if I start a clothing line, you can do it. And I like this podcast, right? This podcast, I had more agency. I could just start it. So sure. What would you say to that? What would you say to someone that was the difference between my goal and your goal? Because your goal is something about creation and you can create. And for someone else, when their goal is I want a new job. And when they say they want a new job, yes, they could do everything in their power, but someone else has the decision making to hire them or not. So what do you say to someone that has a goal that's kind of attached to externally rather than your goal, which is, I think, more internal, intrinsic,
where they're not like fully in control of it.
Yeah, no one can stop you from your goal. Meaning like you're your main obstacle in this goal. But then other ones have external obstacles. What would you say to someone like that?
Well, like, I don't think no one can stop you from achieving, your goals, period. Like we are the number one obstacle, right? And all right, if you're like, oh, I want that job, right?
Yeah.
And you don't get that job, right? But you end up getting another job. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, you didn't achieve that specific goal, but you probably weren't meant for that job. Like, I think the universe like gives you things that is meant for you and necessary for you. TEDx ain't the only big platform. That's like, yes, you'd love to have that, right? But if you get to speak on another big platform, is that not just as good? You see what I'm saying? It just might not be that. And then by speaking on that platform, then TEDx might say, okay, well, yes, right? And give you that opportunity. Or that other job, the job that you wanted, might come around and say, okay, now, like, yeah, let's give you the opportunity. And then you probably going to turn around and be like, no, I'm good, and turn it down. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like what's still meant for you is going to be. If it's just, even if it's not that, like in the exact way that you vision it, because sometimes things don't go the way exactly how we, then we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? We wouldn't everyone wouldn't need like that support to get to where they wanted to go. If it was that achievable that quick, we need guidance. We need support from each other, from, and from ourselves to like motivate ourselves to keep going, and then realizing like, okay, this would be great if I got it, but if I don't get it and I get this, like, this is just as good. Ain't nothing wrong with this over here. If it's, like, that's okay. It's like being okay with that as well. Like, that's, and that's where that's the space I'm working on, being okay with what's meant for me and what's not meant for me. Yeah. Like I said, like I have everything I wanted to do right here with this clothing thing, right? But if I don't get half of it and I get whatever else, like, I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with failure. Like, I don't care if this thing fails, like, because it's about doing and trying, right? And it just might not, but I would love for it. Like, even this World and Vision, okay? Like, these are two guys from Louisiana that started in a dorm room in college, right? And it's such a big brand now. Like, it's so dope. Like, these guys, so dope, right? But like, I would love for what I'm gonna start to reach this level. But if it doesn't, like, that's all right. And in my brain, like, part of me is like, man, I can reach that level, But then if I don't, like, I'm okay with that.
I was thinking like more so, and I was thinking that too, like, as long, I'm making steps to get better. Even in failure of not making this platform, I still, when I reflect back, I become a better public speaker.
Right.
So in the pursuit of this, in the practice of this, I become more prepared in formalized speeching, but it's formalized speeches and like, things where I have to like prepare ahead of time because I did it with Toastmasters. So like, I've it's so much, it's very easy in the like recap of the year to realize how certain shortcomings still made me better, but it's still in the moment sucks or it's disappointing.
Yeah.
And so that's something I'm working on, because I do agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, you try to get this job and maybe you did your resume or you try to get your skills to look good on this resume. You don't get that job, but you like someone else was like, wow, like I'm impressed with you. And like you go totally left, but it still hurts when you have this, like, you want to go here so bad. And it's like, I'd be thinking about that for large goals. Like, what about those people that like live their whole life for a certain goal and it don't happen, like an athlete trying to make the league, or someone that's like put a lot of their being into a pursuit and that doesn't happen. I feel like that's still so tough because like you put so much of your being into something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like and yeah, it's hard, man, and you don't get there, but it's also, while it's hard and it's tough, like it's also okay. And sometimes that's the toughest pill to swallow, is that it's okay. Like, it doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't define you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even working that hard for something and not getting that, it then takes away a certain level of fear. You're like, well, I ain't get that. Like, all right, well, once you get to that space of being okay with it, and you refocus yourself, you reset, right? We talk about reset, and then you shift, and you're going after something else or something similar to it. Like, well, all right, like, this happened, I had this experience, right? That's what failure is, right? Not getting that, I had this experience, that didn't break me, now look at me, right? And now I'm going for something else.
Makes sense.
And that's what it is. It's, people look at the end goal, like, but look at Kevin Hart, and he talks about that a lot. Look at all the failures he had, and then he finally broke, and he was like well into his 30s, man, before he got on. So, and it's just like you fail, and you just need one. You just need that one break. So if you're consistent with it, like, it'll come. Yeah. And all the failures give lessons. Tyler Perry talks about that too. Like, I just saw a clip of Tyler Perry yesterday talking about that. This dude is about to have his own airport, man. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I
mean, I guess we're still seeing, like, I guess what we're both also seeing is we're seeing the tip of people's success.
Right.
A lot of people just really, really, really don't know how far it took to get there.
Right.
I don't think, because no one's really visible when they're failing.
No.
Or no one's visible at 5 o'clock in the morning getting up to do whatever they're doing to get ready.
Right.
I guess we only see people being successful, and exacerbated by social media.
Exactly.
We only see all the people being successful.
Yeah.
And we don't see like the day-to-day grind of anyone, really.
Right.
Or you can, if you really look for it, or read their books about them, but
Yeah. You go look at family pictures and stuff, or Christmas cards and stuff, right? Like, it's Shay, right? Shay sends Christmas cards, right? And me and Shay talk a lot. And then she would tell me the backstory, right?
Oh, yeah.
To get the picture.
Yeah. How many?
And see, so I know the backstory to get that picture, right?
How much crying, how much kids was wrangling.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so, but if she puts that on social media, everybody might not know the backstory. Right. And I got pictures on social media. You go to my Instagram and you look at it, man, some of those pictures I got of Madison, man, to get that shot, bro, probably took like 10 shots, and she was crying before and all this stuff. And it was just like, heck. So yeah, like social media, like you said, it's just like, it shows the end result even more, and make you think like, oh, the end result is the process, when the end result is not the process.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get any questions, so maybe just now, let's go into our shot for shot, and then kind of just wrap up with our plugs. Have a good night, maybe end a little earlier. And for the listeners that are joining us, this will still be live on all the platforms, as well as on iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify and all that, so you can listen. But let's just go into it. Let's just do the shot for shot. You ask a random question, I ask a random question.
Hold on, time out though. All right. I don't know if it's the focus or the camera, but homie, you got some waves there, right? Like going.
Yeah, I
right?
do. I actually got waves.
What?
Yeah, I actually got a haircut.
Look at you, Phil, with the waves.
It only took me to 37 to actually got it,
The waves. You been brushing it?
Yeah, I have.
Yes, sir. I love it.
Good. I feel good. I feel
there you go.
I feel like I should always cut my hair.
Yeah, you should. Can we make that one of your goals? 2022 goals.
I actually did that one year when I said I was going to get haircuts more often, but that didn't last very long. Maybe I'll do it this year.
Yes. Now make it a long-lasting goal.
My other goal is to do a flip phone for Lent.
A flip phone.
Remember that? I'm gonna bring it back. I mean, I did it. I didn't feel like I could do a flip phone during the pandemic, but we're still in it. So yeah. I think Maggie can be okay with me having a flip phone for 1 month because she hates it. She hates when I had the flip phone because she can't find my location.
Yeah.
I could be off the grid from her, and and she's like, she says it's terrible when she likes to text me.
Yeah.
I can't text her back with the flip phone. I'm on the way home.
Oh man. So, all right, shot for shot. What's your go-to like album right now that you're listening to, you're into right now?
So I literally just listen. I listen to random songs.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Daniel Caesar Get You on repeat like 1,000 times.
Okay.
Heard that junk?
Yeah. Yeah.
That video where that guy got slapped by his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him. But overall albums, I still listen to the off season over and over and over again.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, those are the two albums and that one song. I listen to it and then obviously I kind of really like that Easy song with Game. I listen to that junk all the time too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know why. I just like the beat.
It's a dope beat. It's a dope beat. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward, this year, let's knock on wood, maybe Kendrick Lamar will come out with a new album. And that'd be something I'll look forward to. Yeah. And who else is supposed to drop an album that everyone's looking forward to? I can't remember. It just came in my head.
Well, I don't know if everybody's looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to it. And I thought it was going to come out this week, but I think it's coming out in February. But Earth Gang, I'm waiting for their album. Like it's coming out soon.
Maybe Earth Gang, but with someone else. I was looking. Maybe it's just Kendrick. Maybe I just really wanted Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I wanted Kendrick. I thought he was gonna give us something at the end of last year, but
Oh yeah, because he dropped that little thing with the dude, Baby, whatever that dude is, the Family Ties jump.
Yeah. Baby King.
Yeah, but yeah. So, but it's funny because once me, I think I'm not a new music person. I latch on the same songs or same album. I listen to it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to Off Season over and over again.
Okay.
Still. All right. So vacation plans, obviously COVID. Are you planning to go anywhere different this year to see?
I'd like to get up to I got to figure it out, but I want to get up to Washington to go see my buddy Jeff and his wife Christy and the boys and their boys Calvin and Jono. So I would love to get up to Washington and take Maddie with me. They live on Whidbey Island. It's beautiful, beautiful out there. So I would love to get up there in spring, summertime. It's not a long flight, and I think Maddie would really enjoy, you got to take a ferry out to the island, right? Once you land, right? So I think she would really enjoy that, right? So I would love to get out there. So that's somewhere different, but then also, man, I'm not gonna not take advantage. One thing 2021 taught me is time is important. Take advantage of the time while you got it. So there ain't no way I'm not gonna get back there to you guys in the summer. I'm coming back. Me and Maddie are coming. Plus we got RJ, my brother and his wife. They just had their son. So me and Maddie are super excited and ready to see RJ, see our the new addition to the family, to the tribe. So
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well. You got one more question for me? We'll do one more question, and then we'll call it a night. Okay. Thank all the listeners, all the people that jumped in and jumped out. Thank you for supporting Positive Filter. You know, I don't know, this has been great. I love these episodes of getting our goals set.
Yeah.
We got the goal, we got the shirt. We got the shirt. I got the public speaking. And so when we check in for part 2 in March or whatever, mid spring, we'll see how we did on those goals.
All right. Who got the Super Bowl? 4 teams left. Who you got? Who's taking it? Taking it all.
I got the guy that looks like my kids, Patrick Mahomes. And he sounded like Kermit the Frog, but he looked like one of my kids. Actually, he looked like Miles, and he walked like Miles, stocky bodied. Yeah. And then Bennett looked like Devin Booker, straight up.
Like Devin Booker, and also Klay Thompson, and also Steph Curry, and also dog. Like seriously, Golden State got the most light-skinned dudes in the league, dog, by far. I just realized that the other day when I was watching them play. I was like, dog, like they got like 8 light-skinned dudes on their team. Like it's crazy.
That's colorism.
Don't care. I don't care. Go look at it. It's a fact.
I'm saying they're exhibiting color.
Bro, they are. Yes, absolutely. I'm like, man, how come? Like, I'm like, man, it's Jordan Poole. Like, no, they hands down got the most. It's crazy. Bananas. Yeah.
Well,
so,
Bennett.
You going with the Chiefs?
All right, so I go with Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. I think that was the most exciting football game I've seen. Like the Bills one. Yeah, that was the most exciting football game I've seen in a long time. Like that was actually really fun. Like fun football.
Yeah.
Like Like wow. They could have done a real shootout if they had different rules. If they had the college rules, that game would have kept on going back and forth.
Oh, it would have went back and forth for a while. Yeah.
All right. Sure. My last question. Actually, I'm gonna just pull it from here. I got these icebreaker cards. Let me shake it up.
It's gonna be.
I don't even know what it is. These icebreaker cards are pretty cool. Best self.
Yeah, we did them when we were going on to Forbes' wedding. So shout out to Forbes.
Yeah. So this is a random thing. You know, I don't even know what these are. Yeah. Here it is. If you could never work again, how would you spend your time?
How would I spend my time?
If you never had to go to work, how would you spend your time?
Oh man. Bro, so I told you, and I told you, like, it's been like this has been like heavy on me, man. Like when Maddie is graduated, she at college, right? Like one thing I want to do, I want to live on the other side of the world for like 6 months at a time. You know, like live there for 6 months, come back. You know, and my hope is to have a house near Dave, my brother. So and then live there for like 2 months and then go back for another 6 months. So like live and meditate and slow down, you know, and just like appreciate the earth and nature and stuff. Bro, I started listening to Sadhguru, the guy, and I send you guys videos all the time. I listen to this dude every morning. And like just the insight that I've gotten from that, like it's really helped me. Like when I started spiraling, my counselor like got me into it, and I just like, and it's really helped and just influenced me and impact me in a positive way. So like, bro, just slowing down, meditating, just enjoying life, feet in the dirt every morning, you know, waking up to the sun, like all that stuff. So yeah, that's the type of thing like that. That's what I would do. Like that sounds so rest and relax and be peaceful and be all right with my thoughts.
I love it.
Yeah,
you send me those. I listen to some of them, but I mean, I'm not saying it a bad way. No, I'm not saying that because you know me, I got like 10 things going on in my brain. I be looking at listening to podcasts, whatever. But the ones I be catching, they're very helpful.
Yeah, no, I just be sending them.
I do the same thing to you. I just be sending you podcasts.
Yeah.
So this is great. Hillard, you know, obviously, it's the first of many. We set a lot of goals. We talked about goals. We talked about visualization and how you don't write anything down, and I do. You know,
I write some stuff down, but I don't write it down like
No, but not ad nauseum like me, like tomato, like you know, like whole. I got like 10. I got like look at it. I got like 10 thought books, man. I got like look at all these books and things I be writing. I got things I be writing everywhere. So I know I need to find it. We on the different extremes, right? Like I need to like slide more your way, and I try, and I do. You know, I got stuff and affirmations and things like that in my bathroom that are like tacked up that I've written down and I look at.
So there's still goals and stuff that I want to achieve, you know. So I have stuff written down.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm not like you, but I would still want to be more.
I'm like a mad scientist, man. Though I got notes that I look back and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like cryptic code.
Yeah.
Because
I tell people hear about you. I'm like, bro, like my best friend Phil. I'm like, yo, he is Google Calendar and he is that. Like this dude writes down everything, right? And I'm like, man, because I remember like, you know, he didn't want to do the medication anymore. Like he understood. He's like, I got ADD. He wanted to find a different way, and he did it, and he found it. And there was a learning curve to it. But I'm like, now I feel like he's locked in. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, I brag about you, man. So, you know, and you're doing it. So it's like if it got to look like a mad scientist with 10 books, bro, like it's working. So why, like you said, why change the formula? It's working. It's successful. Sometimes. Yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody perfect, so it don't matter. It's not about perfection. It's about does it work? And it does.
Or does it work for you? And
right. Does it work for you? Yeah.
All right. So shout outs and plugs. So this is the end of the episode. Hillard, you're a guest. You know, I don't need to shout out nobody. The only people I'm shouting out is my family, my friends, my wife, all my people, my coworkers that I like, Mason, Alpha. Those are all my shout outs. I'm done. And then plugs is follow my podcast, Positive Philter. That's it, really. So shout outs and plugs, Hillard.
My shout out is to you. Happy birthday, bro. I love you. You're my best friend. I couldn't ask for a better one. And then my other shout out, everybody else knows I love them. They know, you know, who they are. But my other shout out is RJ, new addition to the family. I can't wait to meet you and see you and kiss you and hug on you and love you, my little nephew. So I'm excited about that. And then my plug is support Positive Philter, right? Like, and episode 2 we'll have some more plugs, you know, because some of this goal setting stuff is gonna come to fruition. So then we'll have some more plugs. But yeah, support Positive Philter, man. He's such a dope individual. He's come a long way, and I just like, bro, I want your success as bad as you want it. I want it for you.
Yeah, so we can go to Ghana.
Bro, let's do it.
Remember, I told you someday I'm going to do a keynote at Accra University or something like that, man. I tell you.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. All right. Well, that's great. Hillard, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to take you off the screen.
All right.
So, thank you so much for listening. You listen to Positive Philter with Hillard and me. Please continue to support the show. This has been a great birthday episode. For those that followed along, I appreciate you that follow us live. For those that missed it, you'll still be able to listen later. Hold us accountable. You heard us say some real goals. Slide into Hillard and connect with him on LinkedIn and say, hey, how are you doing with this, the shirts and all that? And maybe, you know, he can give you an update. And also follow with me and keep me accountable because we want to do this. This is what we did. We talked about our goals. We talked about goal setting, but we want us to be accountable to the listeners. And so we put ourselves out there about being accountable. And so if you heard something that inspired you and you have a goal, please share with me. I had a few people share goals with me offline. I'll keep you accountable because I want to see other people succeed, just like Hillard said he wants to see me succeed. So thank you so much for following the podcast. If you have any questions or want to leave a message, DM me, or you can call the hotline, which is 571-336-6560. That's 571-336-6560. Sharing positivity is a movement. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and have a good day. Thank you for listening to Positive Philter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity a Movement. Thanks for listening.